The meeting of San Simeon Community Services District is coming to order now. First item on the agenda today is the roll call, please.
Chair Tijuana,
Here.
Director Lee,
Here.
Director Donahue,
Here.
we have quorum.
Thank you. Pledge of allegiance, please. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, play ball. First item on the agenda, number 4, is public comment for items not on the agenda. Any member of the public may address the board relating to any matter pertaining to district business and within the board's authority to take action, provided the matter is not on the board's agenda. Comments are limited to 3 minutes or less, with additional time at the discretion of the chairperson. The public wishing to address the board on items that do not appear on the agenda may do so. However, the board will take no action other than referring the item to staff for study and analysis, and may place the item on a future agenda. Is everybody really clear on those parameters?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right. Is there any member of the public that wishes to make a comment at this time?
Which one are we going on? The
small one.
the small one? And do we have a, okay.
It's not the supervisor's first
Don't know.
day.
Anyway.
It has issues meeting.
Madam Chair, I'm Bruce Gibson, your 2nd District Supervisor of the County of San Luis Obispo, here to inform those members of your board who I haven't talked to directly on this, that the county is prepared to move forward to provide emergency support services under the File1hr agreement that you activated some time ago. We've developed a scope of work under which we can provide support staff to dig in on those issues that are needed to stabilize the operation of the district. First identifying them and then starting to address them. Those include matters such as the billing issues that were raised at your last meeting. You have opportunity to ratify that agreement with the understanding of how these services will be provided, and I believe that over the course of the next 30 days we will be able to identify those things that absolutely need to be done for the stability of the district, address those in the order of priority, and we should be available to report to your board on this effort at your next regular meeting in early October. So myself and Deputy Director of Public Works Kate Ballantyne are here today to answer your questions, and we look forward to working forward under the agreement of the File1hr agreement that we have.
Great, thank you so much. Does anybody on the board have any questions for the supervisor before he sits down?
Okay.
One simple answer.
Please speak into the microphone.
One simple answer would be to smooth the path and make a clear path for Jeff English to resume his interim general managership. I spoke with him last night. He says he's willing to do that, provided everything with PERS goes away. So that would be the least expensive option, and also,
Michael, that is not an item, you know, that's not something we can discuss right now,
Let me,
okay?
if I might, Madam Chair,
Please.
let me respond. The services that are going to be provided under File1hr are going to be provided by the county. Your agreement under File1hr is with the county. Our staff will endeavor to provide all the service in an emergency situation, which is what triggered this, that we need. Now, exactly what the list of priorities is and who is going to address them is yet to be determined. We certainly appreciate your comment on this, but again, from my position, we're going to turn this over to our professional staff to develop a program that is going to be to the benefit of this district and its customers and the residents of Sampson.
Good.
Any, Holly? No, okay, thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda, non-district reports.
Sorry, Karina. Is anybody in line that would like to make a comment?
Thank you.
No, nobody online.
Okay, I don't see anyone with their hand raised. Non-district reports. Public comments at the conclusion of non-district reports are limited to 3 minutes per person per item. Item A, Sheriff's Report, stated verbal report.
We invite the Commander Abbas, but he didn't confirm the attendance and he is not in the meeting right now.
Okay.
If I notice that he joins the meeting, I will let you know.
Yes, please, thank you. 6, district staff and committee reports. Public comments at the conclusion of the district staff and committee reports are limited to 3 minutes per person per item. Sorry, I dropped something. FRM operations report, summary of August activities and answers to customer inquiries. 2, district financial summary, and 3, district council report. Okay,
Okay, go ahead, Brandon.
go ahead,
Can you guys
Brandon.
hear me?
Yes, thank you, Brandon.
Hi, everyone. So I went over a summary of August last week, but I'll just go over a quick summary of that again. So both water and wastewater treatment plants are working great, no violations to report for the month of August. Flows are average on both water and the wastewater side. There was an EQ level transmitter that was replaced on the wastewater plant due to failure. We have a sanitary survey, which is a state water inspection that's coming up. We are trying to get that scheduled for September 23rd. So our compliance team and chief plant operator will be on site to facilitate that. But I will keep the district posted once we confirm a date with the state on that. And also during the last meeting, I went over just some technical information on water usage, what's average for households, what's average for hotels. Happy to answer any questions or give any further technical information, if needed during this meeting.
Are there any members of the board that wish to address Brandon on any items that he's discussing?
Yeah, I'd like to say, Brandon, there's been a number of months, not just this year, but in past years, where the billed water exceeds the pumped water. So that leads me to only 2 conclusions. Either our billing system is in error, or our meters that were at the well are in error. So I would really like to have the wells professionally calibrated. This, I believe, hasn't been done in over 10 years. In addition, perhaps all of the commercial meters need to be replaced. I really don't know that much about water meters, but it might be that some of these old meters are giving faulty readings, even though they seem to be functioning. I'm not really sure, but the numbers are not adding up very well, and something isn't right. So can you speak to these ideas?
Yeah, and so apologies, I didn't catch all of that. I caught the gist of it. The audio was a little difficult to pick up, but I did catch that you'd like to have the well flow meters calibrated.
Yes.
We can certainly get that done. Agree on the commercial meters. I think a lot of the discrepancy is that historically, a lot of those meters have been not functioning, and so accurate reads have been averaged, or because reads were not accurate, they were average flows, and so now that you have new meters installed, we're getting accurate reads, and so there's a huge discrepancy between averaging what was thought was a fair average, I guess, versus actual water that's going through these meters. So we're working with the district and with the county. We're willing to do anything we can to help get this resolved and move in the right direction. And that's what we're committed to doing. So I'll get the ball rolling.
Well, Brandon,
getting quote.
this is
Yes.
Karina. With respect to the discussion that we're having here from the dais, there really isn't any action item on your part at this moment because we're not voting on that as a board. Director Donahue is making some comments. To the extent that it makes it on an agenda, we'll let you know to the extent that FRM should expend any money or take any real actions on this without having had a full review by the board to determine whether or not that's actually necessary or not. And as we heard in the public comment, we had, our Board of Supervisors supervisor, the Honorable Mr. Bruce Gibson, was here to tell us, what is planned in that regard. And from what I understand is that we're working very closely with Public Works on some of these items, and the goal is to resolve these items, and I'm certain that you'll provide whatever cooperation they require. Isn't that right, Brandon?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I knew it. You guys are doing a bang-up job. Thank you.
Brandon, can I ask, can you give us some idea on how much it would cost to professionally
hang on a second.
calibrate the meters at the well?
Michael, please. We have not taken any action whatsoever. We will be
Okay.
reviewing this, and if it's on the agenda, we can discuss how much it costs.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you, Brandon. Moving on to the next item. Any questions from anybody online that wishes to make anything?
No, nobody online.
All right, great. District financial summary.
Okay, we were unable to get the district financial summary for August due to it has been only a couple days from after the end of the month, so it will be ready for the next meeting.
Okay, thank you. District Council, do you have a report? I see that you're online.
I am, and good evening, Chair and Directors. I have a brief report to give you. This is following our last couple of special meetings, regular and special meeting. As you heard this evening from Supervisor Gibson, I can report that from the staff perspective, we've been working collaboratively with county staff to review the ongoing situation, what I'll say the macro level, to try to determine a potential scope of work and options for the county to assist the district through the Cal Warren request for temporary services and staffing. And so that is something that we're actively working with county staff. Specifically related to that, I know that one of the priorities that the board has identified in the last few months is moving forward with a potential rate increase and a rate evaluation study in order to move forward with a 218 process. And that is something that we have identified and discussed with staff as being a priority that we're hopeful that they'll be able to provide very necessary assistance on. So it is a matter that we are currently watching and trying to figure out options, but it is one of those items that will necessarily follow the selection of staff, county staff, if that's the board's desire to assist with that. But I did want to let you all know that that is we understand that that's a high priority amongst others, such as the billing issues. I did participate on a call with county staff and FRM to go over, last week, to go over some of the billing issues, and it's something that we're also actively watching and working collaboratively with both FRM and the county to try to, resolve and evaluate further. And we can provide the board with an update at a future time, but I also wanted to let you know that as well. So aside from that, what we have endeavored to do in the last few weeks is to move things along as best we can with help from district staff to ensure that all of the necessary items that the board has to consider makes its way on the agenda, and that we schedule things appropriately for your consideration. So that is the conclusion of my report for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. So I think that's all for District Council's report. Is there any public comment related to District Council's report? Please approach the microphone.
Achieving any kind of balanced budget here is going to be a challenge, to say the least. I'm concerned that legal costs are going to jump through the roof, or starting to jump through the roof. And by that I mean triple, quadruple what they are. And I think somehow we, from a budget standpoint, also need to get an estimate on that. If the legal costs are going to come in at $250,000 plus this year, well, we're going to have a real problem. I mean, we can barely pay for the portion of the county study that will be charged to us this year, let alone, enormous legal costs that may be incurred. So I'd like to ask that the board members do something to get a forecast here of legal costs, and in that sense they're running. I know you can't estimate legal costs, Karina, but it is possible if there's major activities out there. They know. Okay. Well, thanks for shaking your head.
Thank you. Thank you for your comment.
Sure.
Is there anyone else?
Nobody online.
Thank you. Okay, on to the consent calendar items. All items are approved by a single action. Any item may be removed from the consent calendar for separate discussion upon request from a member of the public, district staff, or by a director. Public comment on the consent calendar will take place prior to the board's vote on the consent calendar items. Unless an item is pulled for separate consideration by the board, the following items are recommended for approval without further discussion. Item A, review and approval of the resolution to amending San Simeon Community Services District policy on discontinuance of residential and water services and applying the policy to non-residential water service. Review and approval of the water waitlist refund policy. Discussion and approval of the updated ACO report. Is there anyone wishing to make any district directors or anyone wishing to pull anything off the consent calendar?
Yes. A needs to be broken up into two separate parts with residential and commercial. So separately, we can't mix these.
Okay, so let's take that off the consent calendar, and for a future agenda, we can put that on the next agenda item.
I don't know why we even put it in the agenda, why we applying the discontinuing service when we have, what can we apply late payment penalty?
The microphone.
Why don't we apply late payment penalty instead of discontinuance?
No, that's what the policy says.
Yeah, that's, we should.
Did you read the policy?
I did.
Okay. It's for
It's a discontinuance.
the issue is that, with the policy we can discuss later. Let's take this off,
Yeah,
okay?
take it off.
Take it off. All right, thanks a lot. Next, how about review and approval of the water anything else? All right, thank you. So are there any further comments on the consent calendar items?
Can I make a motion?
Nobody online? Is there anybody?
No, nobody online.
All right, thank you. Yes, let's move and,
Yeah, I make a motion to approve B and C on the consent calendar item list.
I second that motion.
Roll call to vote. Chair Tijuana,
Yes.
Director Lee,
Yes.
Director Denahue.
Yes.
So it is 3 versus 0.
Public comments at business action items. Public comments at the conclusion of each business action item are limited to 3 minutes per person per item. Review and approval of resolution adopting the SSCSD fiscal year 2025-2026 budget. Discussion and direction on paying for recurring district expenses. Discussion and approval of resolution of the Board of Directors approving authorized contacts for the California class account. Review and ratify the designation of SSCSD acting chair as the legal responsible official to certify SSCSD CIWQS reports. Item A. I think we have presentation on this. Is that right, Council?
Chair Tawana, before we proceed with that item, because the board pulled the previous consent calendar item, I'm wondering if you would like to have discussion and a vote on that since it was pulled off the calendar, off the consent calendar for a vote.
I think it requires to be put on the next agenda.
So typically, consent calendar items, the intent of them are to be acted upon all as one. But if there are questions or requests for clarification, or someone from the public has comments on a specific item, it can be pulled for discussion and a vote. So it doesn't have to be continued to the next meeting. You can still take action on that tonight and entertain discussion. So I just want to make sure that
Okay,
the board
so-
knows that you can do that tonight.
Okay, let's put that as item number E. And
Item
familiarize
D.
yourself with the
Item D.
PUD. Item E in the business action item section. Is that okay?
So we can put it as the final business action item for tonight.
That's correct.
Yes. So that's fine.
8E.
As to business action item A, what staff has presented to you is not a proposal, a specific proposal with a recommendation. However, as the board will recall, your previous interim general manager did prepare what was deemed a preliminary budget for fiscal year 25-26 and presented that for the board's consideration previously. The government code does specify that there are specific requirements for special budget and within a very specific time frame. The item originally was slated to be heard at your special meeting last week, but unfortunately, because of the noticing that was required for the budget, it was published in time for this particular date, and so that is why we're hearing it now and why we didn't have it previously on your special agenda, special meeting agenda. What is included in your agenda packet are essentially two proposed budgets for your review. Again, as I mentioned, the preliminary budget that was prepared by your previous interim general manager back in July, and a budget that is proposed by what I'll say the existing member of the district budget committee, Mr. Kruzak, who is present this evening. I had a chance to speak with Mr. Kruzak and explain that we were presenting this as an option. Again, these budgets are being presented to the board for your consideration, discussion, and deliberation without a specific recommendation. But I will open the floor in the event that he wants to provide additional information on his proposed, the budget that he was helpful in preparing. And those are the synopsis of the budgets that we have for your consideration. And I can answer any questions you may have.
I'd like to hear from Mr. Krisak.
Yeah, me too.
So there is in the screen the preliminary budget, and then I'm gonna show now
would like to preface these remarks a bit. I am a member of the Budget Committee, and I had been discussing...
Would you like to sit and put the microphone in front of you? Is that
I'm
easier?
okay if you
Is it
can hear
okay?
me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not so tall, so, okay.
Okay.
But thank you, Karina.
Okay.
Just curious. As a Budget Committee member, I'm providing this draft version 2 of the 25-26 budget. It is a balanced budget, which I believe is required by law. So that's one thing to keep in mind. This year's budget process is irregular. I'm a member of the Budget Committee that had planned to assist our interim general manager English during budget preparation. His untimely departure left him with no time to work on the budget. In the past, as part of the general manager's duties, the general manager should have prepared the budget with the assistance of the Budget Committee and presented it, being the IGM, for adoption by the board. Optionally, an accountant could have reviewed the budget. Neither has happened this year. This year's process leaves me uncomfortable. That said, the second version of the budget incorporates a delayed 36% rate increase to the months of December 1st, which may still be aggressive now as you're moving along toward a Prop 218 and based on what I've heard. But the way this budget's proposed, it's balanced with a 36% rate increase effective December 1st, which is now a little bit aggressive. As a result, the district will still need to dip into our $324,000 or $330,000 reserves by $190,000, leaving a reserve of only $134,000 by next June. This is a critically low reserve position representing about 1 month's worth of expenses, which at that point you should be declaring a fiscal emergency. It is worth noting that in January of 2022, the district had $1.2 million in cash reserves. $1.2 million. The reserve is now down to this $324 to $330 with some interest here. The burn rate for a couple of years was over $300,000 a year. The district has reduced expenditures now, such that the fiscal year 24-25, this past year, the burn rate was half that, or $150,000. Furthermore, there have been no rate increases for 2 years, which did not help the revenue situation. That's a serious amount of money considered over the last 2 years plus a year facing us. This year, the district will face substantial charges for the dissolution study. Legal fees, increased legal fees that I mentioned earlier are going to be substantial, and higher cash burn rate compared to last year. So as you can see, what Jeff and one of his associates put together showed a deficit of $500,000 in that budget. And the way, when I looked at the costs, which are very similar based on last year's expenses, and because we're doing the budget so late, I could actually get reports from Kathy that showed the full year last year to base the estimates on for this year. So there's a solid base for costs with some variables in here. One being legal costs, another one are the study costs is the when the study starts hitting, but they're substantial numbers, and we don't have any reserves for any critical projects if we had to repair the outfall line, which I think is going to take some time to get started anyway, but that could be a $130,000 job that would not be something we could fund easily. I'm not saying that's required right now. All right, so the budget you see there has a 36% rate increase, the second of the two budgets, effective December 1st, which again may be a little aggressive. And at the bottom, the last line is withdrawing from our reserves a fair chunk of change, $184,000 to bring us in line to get a balanced budget. So we're not in a real good financial position. Prop 218 increases should be a priority, along with collection of the $75,000 of unpaid bills, which one customer is $40,000 to $50,000 of that, and another's $10,000. So that's an important item that you move down to the bottom of the agenda. And anything else we can do, like meter replacements, or try to get grants for some of that, the commercial meters. Something's not right. When I've looked at these bills and the water usage and billing for 7-8 years now, and I can see that there's something wrong that's going on. For sure, meters are underreporting. The commercial water usage is about 70 to 80% of our water usage, and so that's the place to start, is to look at those, which was briefly discussed, but FRM really should bring back a proposal to update at least the commercial remaining ones to give you an idea of the cost, and maybe there's some grant opportunities.
Is there anything
That's
more
enough.
about the
Okay,
budget?
that's enough. So you got the budget in front of you. You've got two budgets, one that's on balance by $500,000 that you could adopt, but it wouldn't be legal. You can ask Nubia that you do have to have a balanced budget. The other one is balanced, but requires a substantial 36% rate increase, effective December 1st, which you may or may not make.
So can I ask a question? If that same, obviously it'll change the numbers. If, for example, I mean, we're really up against a tough deadline with the 218 and everything
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
It still could happen by that date, but to the extent that it might be delayed a month or two, how is that going to impact your numbers here?
Okay, well, if we look at the two budgets, you can almost figure this out.
Well, just from a round number,
From a round number,
yeah.
you're probably looking at, what, $25,000 a month of revenue?
Okay, what do you think that percentage
30,
of that is?
Yeah, about
as
25,
opposed
30,
to that?
maybe 30,000 a month revenue.
Okay, so I mean, that's not going to break the whole thing down horrifyingly, especially since we're going to be collecting a bunch of money, and that hasn't been considered as the collections. What if the collections came in prior to that as well? And so that might mitigate any kind of delay
Yes.
that could concern us related to 218.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay. Any other questions?
You did a great job. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for hanging in there.
It is an awkward position to be in, though.
I understand the awkward position, and,
Okay.
you know, we're all in this together at this point, very awkwardly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
I have a simple question, though. If these newly replaced meters start bringing in some significantly more revenue, can we adjust that 36% downward?
Here's the problem with meters. To replace meters, it costs money. Commercial
Yep.
meters, I don't know what FRM is charging per meter, is something
yeah.
that when you get that on the agenda, you should get a quote from them to replace the commercial meters, the twin turbine meters and whatever. You need to get an estimate from them on the cost for the commercial meters, and that will cover 70 to 80% of our revenue. So, but you need to get a cost to install, so you have to recover those costs of installing the meters until you get that number, which I think the chair suggested might be on a future agenda item to talk to FRM about.
Okay.
There's a lot of priorities, folks. A lot of priorities.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now let's go to anyone else wishing to make a anyone wishing to make a public comment on this item, on the budget item?
Nobody online.
Anybody in the house? No one. All right. So we're prepared to vote on this item.
Okay. I'll make a motion to vote on business action item 8A. Do I have a second?
Michael, which
We need to know-
version are you going to recommend that we pass for a second?
The
I'm
recommendation,
recommending the version that has the 36% rate increase that is balanced and legal.
Okay, thank you so much. I second that motion.
okay, roll call to vote, Chair Tijuana,
Yes.
Director Lee,
Yes.
Director Danahue,
Yes.
motion passed 3-0.
Thank you. Next item, discussion and direction on paying for recurring district expenses. Is there an introduction on this from anyone? Want to introduce this?
Yes.
I know what it's about. It seems pretty fundamental. It's hard for me to understand why. I mean, we're the district board. Okay, fine, come on. Somebody pay the Google.
The thing is, we have some recurrent payments that used to be paid by the general manager in place, and then the district reimburse that expenses. And since we don't have a general manager right now, some of these payments are kind of in the air because we don't have a credit card from the district. So this is for that, to make like a decision about if we can get a credit card from the district, or how can we
Do you have online banking?
propose another method to pay the district current monthly subscriptions, because they are both the QuickBooks and the Google Suite.
Okay, so can I ask a question quick? So is it possible to pay it online? Do you have access to the online banking?
It is possible to pay online,
Okay.
but they don't take directly from the bank account, like a routing and the number. It only takes card.
Okay.
Debit card, credit card.
Do we have a debit card for,
No, we don't have a card for the district. So we need
it's a debit, we're talking about a debit card.
the credit card. No, they don't take debit cards. Apologize. It's only credit cards.
Google doesn't take,
No.
okay, that's insane. So I don't think that's going to happen quickly. I mean, well, that's not going to solve the problem quickly. So, I mean, for heaven's sakes, can we just,
Well,
is there a way to write them a check? No way to do that?
No, what we can do here is authorize any member of the staff to use the card and reimburse that person,
What
as we
card?
normally do.
We don't have a card.
I got it.
I'm not doing that. I would vehemently oppose that. How about you guys? I would.
Can we get a credit card
Can
for
the
the district?
can the district have a credit card?
Yeah, there are debit cards that works at credit cards,
Not credit cards.
That's what I asked. That's what I
but
asked.
we don't have that one.
Well, let's get that one.
Let's get a credit
It's
card.
like a
Let's-
debit card from the bank that can act like a credit card. Okay,
That's why we are
were
here.
talking past each other. Okay, now I understand what you're
Yeah.
saying. So let's pretend. I'm not doing a commercial. I'm not sponsored by them. But let's say we have a Visa card.
Yeah.
And you can use it in the ATM if you want to, or you can
Yes.
use it as a debit. That comes as a debit from the checking account, right? It's not a credit. We don't have to go apply for a line of credit or anything like that.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Yes. We are on the same page.
I
So-
think we need to get that.
Okay, that's the item that we have here for your authorization.
We
Right.
don't have it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, absolutely. We should have done it a long time ago.
All right, so do you want to make a motion to pass that?
Okay,
I thought we already had it.
Have
Okay.
we received
We
public
don't have
comments?
Yeah, we
Oh,
have to receive public comment on this item, please.
Nobody online.
Nobody in the building wishing to make a comment on this very, very, very interesting item. So, Hollywood, do you want to make a motion? It's B, as in boy.
Yeah, 8B.
Well, we make a motion, I second it. I'm not going to make one.
I make a motion that we adopt 8B, discussion and direction on paying for recurring district expenses with a debit card. A Visa or
Whatever.
MasterCard debit card.
Whatever it's
I
branded.
second it. Okay,
Do we have a
so roll call
second?
to vote. Chair Tijuana,
Yes.
Director Lee. Yes. Director Donahue.
Yes.
Motion passed 3-0. Thank you.
Okay. Item C, discussion and approval of a resolution of the Board of Directors approving authorized contacts for the California class account. And does anyone want to introduce this item? Nubia, do you want to talk about this? That we kind of churned this over and chewed it
Yes.
up and spit it out and chewed it
Yes,
up
I
again.
can. Thank you, Chair Tawana. This item is a continuation of the discussion that you had last week regarding the California class account in order to modify the account users and who has access. So following your discussion last week, we did make a few adjustments to the proposed action. As part of that, your resolution now authorizes your staff, your district assistant to the general manager, and your bookkeeper as read-only users but they may be designated additional account access by the board chair or a designated director in writing. That is, again, not, it doesn't, it envisions some type of emergency situation where there isn't access available or something happens and the director can't take whatever action needs to be taken on the account. It would have to be documented in writing. I think we all recognize that in an ideal situation, the structure of account access would be slightly different, but under the circumstances, this is what basically put together for the board's consideration. So that is the basic change. I will note that the resolution does also provide for the two-way authorization in order to ensure that basically the transactions, that there's coverage and that there's some documented way to verify. The dual authorization, I do believe we probably could beef it up a little bit to ensure that dual authorization it must require at least one director to be an authorized signer in order to proceed, so that way there will always be a director who is associated with any changes on the account. And again, this is an interim measure until such time, or if you are able to fill your interim or permanent general manager position.
I'd like to have a discussion as the first person to discuss this, and then you guys can go forward. This is a really solid way to go forward, all right? My dad had this saying, he said, you know, these types of safeguards are great until the fence starts eating the garden, okay? So you can put a lot of safeguards in place to make sure nothing happens. We can discuss it up and down until the cows come home, and then we still have an issue where certain things have to be done by 11 o'clock in the morning to authorize these items. Okay, and there's all sorts of things, so we have to build some flexibility into the process. I'm comfortable with this, and I hope we pass it. What is your comment? Any comments?
I have a comment. Yeah, I completely agree with you, Karina. We need the flexibility. And my only concern is if either Ruth or Kathy is on vacation or sick or whatever, the changing from and to or makes all the difference. So Ruth or Kathy, not Ruth and Kathy. Does anybody have a real problem with changing and to or?
Nubia, can you make a comment on that? I'm not sure if I'm reading that the same way.
I read differently. That we appoint them as a
We appoint
read-only
them both.
users, not require they're authorized.
Right.
It's a users.
Users.
Not both.
They're both, they can be read-only use.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of
But if somebody is absent, can the job still be done?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm asking
It's the
Nubia.
section 2 that Director Donahue's mentioned is here on screen.
I mean, we're just beating this to death.
I'm trying to understand where the and/or issue is and where, Director Dunn, can you please direct me to?
Section
where
2.
it is that you're-
Mr. Kruzek is raising his hand. Why don't you have him?
You're being recognized at this time. You're making a board
Okay,
comment. He's a
okay.
member of the
So I'm
board.
happy-
We can do that at public comment.
It is marked on the screen. It's the section 2 where it says the district's assistant to the general manager Ruth Montgomery and bookkeeper Kathy East are appointed as read-only users for the
Okay,
district.
so what's
Am
wrong
I
with
right?
that?
It doesn't mean both.
Both appointed.
They're both
It's
appointed.
not one or the other. It's both. They each can both
Can read
use.
it.
So the way you're reading it, Ruth, is that either one of you can do it. I was reading it as if it was really and, both of you needed.
No, I can explain this since we drafted this, Director Dunn.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
The intent behind this is that they're both read-only users. It doesn't require them both to do it. But it would be awkward diction to state and or, that wouldn't make sense. They're both appointed as read-only users.
Okay.
Unless I'm missing something.
No, I read it
All
that
right,
way.
it's all semantics. Okay, I'm good with it.
All right, is there any public comment on this item? Please step forward.
It's a small change, and the read-only access is not a problem. That's what should have been in the last one for Ruth and Kathy, for the two positions, the GM assistant and bookkeeper. That's fine. It's the next sentence that kind of chews away at it. And during the presentation from district council, she indicated that under the dual authorization, that one of the authorizers had to be a director. It doesn't say that in the ordinance. That's what's missing. You can do that one of two ways. You can either change section 3 so that one of the signers, you said that it did, district council, but it doesn't say that one of them has to be a director, or you can change it up earlier after that one sentence that's on the screen, where the chair can only appoint one of the two parties, either the general manager assistant or the bookkeeper. But unfortunately, right now, the bookkeeper and the bookkeeper and the assistant general manager could literally move funds if the chairperson, didn't want to be bothered or didn't want to have access to the account, whatever. But the thing is, we want dual authorization, and the dual authorization.
I don't see where you're reading that. Where do you read that?
Okay.
I mean, I'm sorry, I don't get that out of, I
Okay.
honestly am
Okay.
trying to find out
Okay.
why you have such a
Okay.
big problem with this.
I do because, well, all right.
There's plenty of safeguards.
No, there isn't.
Oh, okay.
No, because Newbie herself said that the dual authorization would require one director. But the language in
At
this
least one
ordinance does
director.
not say that.
So
She said-
can
okay,
I
stop.
interject?
Yes.
What I stated.
Yes, it
is
does.
that I recognize that an additional safeguard would require a director to be, that the dual authorization would require at least one director to be that designated
Okay.
signer.
So
But
that-
that's what I said.
All right, so add that.
I recognize that the language as drafted right now does not state that. So it's as an additional safeguard, if the board wishes to include that, they can as part of this action.
And then I'm done at that point because I think you've got adequate separation of duties and internal controls. And I did run an accounting services department for a while.
Congratulations.
Now, I know, you don't appreciate experience.
Right.
Okay.
So can this be
if you just-
modified?
If you just modify it the way she just stated, adding that one director is required on the dual authorization, then we're done. That's a simple change.
Simple change, one director be on it. Okay, so can we make a motion to approve this as modified with one director?
Make the motion.
I am making a motion to approve 8C with one director being authorized. That change being implemented just as Nubia stated. Do I have a second?
What about the paragraph before that? It say it had to be one by the board chairperson or designated director in writing. Isn't that part of section 3 or it's
Yeah,
not?
I think it was adequately written before, but I mean,
Is that
you
refer
can-
to-
I'd like to second the motion Donahue has on the floor. Let's
Okay,
vote.
thank you.
Roll call to vote. Chair Tijuana,
Yes.
Director Lee,
Yes.
Director Danahue.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion passed 3-0.
Okay, let's see. 8, business action items. D, review and ratify the designation of SSCSD acting chair as the legally responsible official to certify SSCSD CIWQS reports.
I can provide a short summary of this item to the board.
Yeah, thank you.
This item was a very last minute add to the agenda as it came to our attention late last week that there's a series of reports and documents that must be submitted to the state for purposes of regulatory compliance. The district is required to submit monthly, semi-monthly, and annual reports, and your current contractor, Fluid Resource Management, does prepare the reports for the district's consideration. Those are prepared and reviewed by the compliance manager, and were sent over to the district for review and submittal. The challenge is that there is a requirement from the state that you have a legally responsible official to sign off officially on the documents. Again, for purposes of authorizing them to be submitted, again, they're prepared and checked by the consultant. This is more just a legal requirement. Typically, your general manager, your interim general manager, served as a legally responsible official, and seeing as there is no such person at this time, staff collectively, with assistance from county staff, which was incredibly helpful to prepare this and move this forward, recommended that at that time, in order to try to hit the September 1st deadline, the acting chair, signed the documents on behalf of the district for submittal, but to ensure that it's done appropriately and that the chair is designated as a legally responsible official, we've prepared this item for your consideration to ratify that decision. This action is intended again to be a safeguard, a temporary safeguard until such time as you have a general manager or an interim general manager who can step into that role. But again, I would like to thank county staff who assisted in moving forward very, very expeditiously, and Richard Tawana for helping meet the deadlines and ensure that the documents were signed.
Yeah, okay, so I want to make just one comment here. Anybody has any problem with myself, please take over that duty, okay?
No,
You want to take over the duty?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just have a question.
Okay.
In case you're not available.
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to delegate to one of the board member to certify the report?
No, the sky will fall.
I know.
Yeah,
We can't
so-
afford that.
Right. Well, all I did was I tried to not be in the way of our amazing staffers
Right,
at the county
right.
that were helping. And they said, would you please sign this? It's really important. This is
Right.
what it is.
Right.
They're going to give you a username and a password, and then you just have to approve the FRM and reports. I said, if you say so, I will do that. Okay?
So good. You're not taking any vacations.
So I'm not,
and you're
well, listen to me. I don't know how that works, okay? But today, we should probably do this.
Okay.
Yeah, basically, FRM prepare the reports, and then the reports are reviewed, and once we are sure that reports are right, that we got help from the county to review those reports. So what we need to do is get the approval from the rural person, that in this case is Karina, the one that was.
No,
like
and I'm
that.
happy to abdicate that to anyone who wishes to be that person, okay? But at this point in time, I'm only going to do what staff tells me to do.
Good. Thank you.
Is there any comment? Yeah, sorry.
Is there any further comment on this item?
Nobody online.
So I move to ratify the designation of the acting chair as the legally responsible official to certify the district and California water quality reports, or whatever it is. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Roll call to vote, Chair Tijuana,
Yes.
Director Lee,
Yes.
Director Donahue.
Yes.
Motion passed 3-0. Thank you.
Okay, going back to item 7A, I would love for the directors to propose a motion to actually get this passed. Because I thought it was fine how it was, so.
Okay, I would propose that 7A be broken up into two separate resolutions, one for commercial meters and one for residential meters, or water service.
Council, can you explain why this was appropriate to combine into one item?
Again,
Thank you.
this is another one of those items that was prepared under short notice in an effort to begin the process of addressing the ongoing billing disputes that have been raised by several of your commercial customers. The board did previously approve policy related to billing disputes and shut-off services in line with directions from the state, essentially. And that happened a few years ago. Unfortunately, that policy doesn't specifically spell out the application of that policy to commercial users. I think there's an argument to be made that you could, but in an effort to have something right now that commercial customers could look at and determine, what their process for dispute resolution would be, we put this together again as a temporary measure with the idea that this is a temporary solution, and I believe that from a long-term perspective, it would be beneficial to have separate policies. We didn't have the opportunity to put that together, so since the district already had one in place, what we did was put this item together to spell out specifically what portions of the existing policy would apply to non-residential water service, particularly focused with the dispute resolution process. The resolution does also provide, again, in this interim phase, that if the district general manager position is vacant, there's a very specific process that must be followed. This was presented and included here for your consideration, that one district staff member and a director would step into the general manager's position as the initial level of review in order to have that first contact with the customer. Once that conversation takes place, then and it's not able to be resolved, meaning that it's not a simple clerical error or something that can be resolved by staff, that matter would then be considered and moved forward to the board itself to complete the review of the policies that already were in place. And again, the idea was to have something that can be addressed and that can be used immediately, knowing that it is not a final or perfect policy, but it at least gets the ball rolling so that there's something in writing. So I can answer any questions the board may have.
Yeah.
I have a question on the, in the event, on the contingency, if we go to that section, that there isn't a general manager available and a director steps into that, does that indicate that it's the chair? I'm not seeing it in my,
It does not, it currently says a director.
okay.
But that is something that could be changed as part of the policy if you wish.
No.
We left it very general.
Leave it.
And intentionally for purposes of discussion tonight.
It was just a question to you because I wanted to ensure that it was the generic director.
That's correct.
Right.
So Nubia, do you envision revising this at some future date to kind of separate the residential and the commercial?
I can, if it's the board's desire to essentially make sure that we have are two standalone policies, which, again, I see the value in that just from a structural standpoint, but again, I guess the best justification I can give the board is we've had a lot of fluid situations
Yes.
recently, and we needed to present the board with something. But yes, we can absolutely separate them. If you adopt this today and give us direction, we can present you at a future meeting with two separate policies.
Okay.
Okay, somebody make a motion if you like it.
I make
Wait. Before we vote, we have to have public comment
public
on
comment.
on the item.
First, thanks for clarifying that this was done on an urgent basis to get this done because of the $75,000 in back bills, which is a lot of money for our small budget. And I hope the board will proceed with the recommendation that was just made that approve this, but then direct council to come up with a separate one, which will be cleaner and less subject to challenges. And that's the last point. As there was just one additional change I'd like to suggest to the small one, because of the way it's written, the notifications don't look appropriate for commercial accounts. If you could just consider adding one sentence for notification of commercial accounts, because right now it's oriented definitely toward residential, and somebody could balk that there was really no notification process in this resolution for commercial accounts. So just one sentence that says that the appropriate notifications will be given to the commercial account address, account holder, whatever, some magic sentence. That's all I'm suggesting, because that's the only flaw that I can see people getting around right now.
Nubia, can you comment on Hank's statement?
I think we need a motion.
You know,
Well, I don't want anybody to wiggle out of
There's
this.
no wiggling.
Well, if they say residential,
If there are concerns about the noticing, while it is more tailored to residential, again, the intent behind this was to have the basic due process requirements apply to both. So any noticing that's required for residential would be required for commercial.
okay,
it just doesn't say that.
right, well,
Okay.
It does.
I move to pass the resolution to apply the discontinuance of the residential water service to the non-residential water service. And if they complain, when they
I
call-
second.
Roll call to vote. Chair Tijuana,
Yes,
Director Lee,
Yes.
Director Donahue.
yes,
thank you.
Motion passed 3-2.
Okay. Finally, closed session. Public comments at the closed session agenda are limited to 3 minutes per person per item. The board will adjourn to the closed session to address the following items. A, public employment, Government Code Section 54957, title Interim General Manager. B, conference with legal anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D, one case. C, report upon conclusion of closed session. Once the closed session has been completed, the legislative body must convene in an open session, Section 54957.7B. If the legislative body took final action in the closed session, the body may be required to make a report of the action taken and the vote thereon to the public at the open session. Section 54957.1A. The report may be made either orally or in writing, Section 54957.1B. In the case of a contract or settlement of a lawsuit, copies of the document also must be disclosed as soon as possible. Section 54957.1B and C. we are closed session. Okay.
No.
The board is reconvening after closed session, so council, is there any report?
Yes, direction been provided to staff.
Thank you. Finally, we are on item E, this section, board comments. This section is intended as an opportunity for board members to make brief announcements, request information from staff, request future agenda items, and/or report on their own activities related to district business. No action is to be taken until an item is placed on a future agenda. Are there any items?
I want to thank you, the rest of, so one, for taking on the chair position for the rest of the year. Thank you.
Yeah,
And being the person responsible
Thank
to certify all the reports.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You owe me coffee.
Nubia?
Wait, oh, is this an item?
Yes, it's
Okay,
an
thank
item,
you.
but it's kind of couched as a bit of a question, because I don't want to put any more on their plate than necessary. But it does seem to me that the broken water meter at Hearst Castle needs priority attention. Does this need to be on an agenda item?
You can,
I would say that, as Supervisor Gibson has, discussed tonight, the staff, that county staff is, looking at all options to move forward to helping the district. That's something that we probably could coordinate with the county employee who will be coming on board, so that they're aware and hopefully can move that item forward along with addressing any other billing issues.
Oh, good. So we don't have to micromanage this as a board anymore. They're taking over.
Once they come on board officially, yes.
That's nice. That's
are
refreshing.
there any other board comments? Recognizing no further board comments, this meeting is adjourned.